Hi, my name is Matt McGinnis, and today I'm going to examine Apple's latest ad, which calls out the laws of physics in order to advertise its new iPhone 5. I've included the link in this slide if you want to copy it and watch the ad again yourself. I'm going to show it to you right now.
There are laws to physics, right? So explain this. How can something get bigger and smaller? There's more of it and less of it? Well, I guess the laws of physics are more like general guidelines.
So, that was Apple's latest ad. And the first thing I want to do is examine what exactly Apple means when it talks about a law. So there are three different important parts of scientific discovery. There's hypothesis, theory, and law. A hypothesis, as we've already examined before, is an educated guess which explains why an observation occurs. A theory is really more of it summarizes a hypothesis, or is a set of several hypotheses that have been supported multiple times through testing. Examples include evolution. However, scientific law, which the ad specifically mentions, describes a set of observations without actually proving or supporting them. Now, I'm going to go through a couple of examples which display what Apple is actually talking about. Apple in its ad mentions that things really shouldn't be getting bigger and smaller at the same time. However, I have two examples which actually demonstrate that this occurs all the time. One begins with a law, the second law of thermodynamics, which says that systems tend toward disorder. Disorder can actually be measured in something we know as entropy. Using the equation delta G, which stands for free energy, is equal to delta H, which is the energy of formation, subtracted by the temperature multiplied by this measured quantity, which is entropy, actually describes whether or not reactions become spontaneous or whether something needs to cause them to occur. So, for any spontaneous reaction, delta G, which is the measurement of free energy, has to be less than zero. Now, one obvious example which releases a great deal of energy is combustion. So, I've put below the simple combustion of hexane, which would be 2C6H14 plus 19O2 molecules, forms 12 CO2 molecules and 14 water vapor molecules. On the left, we begin with 21 reactant molecules. However, we end with 26 product molecules. 26 is a greater number than 21, and those 26 molecules are far more likely and will be far more disorganized and chaotic when compared with the 21 that we began with. So, in this reaction, delta G obviously less than zero because fire and combustion produces a great amount of heat. The delta S also tends to be greater. So, in a reaction like this, delta S shows an increase, however delta G is a smaller number. Another great example of something getting smaller and bigger at the same time is water. As water freezes, its volume actually increases because its molecules orient themselves in this hexagonal shape shown on the right, as opposed to its more free and random appearance on the left. As water freezes, its volume increases. It gets greater in size. However, its density actually decreases. A great example of something getting smaller in its density and greater in its size. Now, specifically talking to the iPhone itself. The iPhone 5 has the following dimensions, and the iPhone 4 has the following dimensions as well. Now, when we want to talk about the size of the two of them, we have to talk about their volume, something that the iPhone ad basically overlooks. Volume is a measurement of the amount of space, measured in cubic units, that an object or substance occupies. So, if we assume that the iPhone is a rectangular prism, it's not really, it has curved corners, but if we assume the volume of the iPhone 5 is about 3.37 cubic inches, and the volume of the iPhone 4 is 3.87 cubic inches. Now, if I can quantify this, I'm sorry to say, Apple, but you're not exactly defying the laws of physics. I'm sorry to inform you that all you're doing is making your iPhone 0.5 cubic inches smaller. So, in a way, you're actually decreasing the size of your iPhone. While you may have made the length much greater, you made the volume a considerable bit smaller. So, to anyone who thought that their iPhone was really all that and defied the laws of physics, sorry to inform you, but Apple has to follow the laws of physics as well.